Hello, how are you? Hola, ¿cómo están? I hope everybody's doing well and doing great this Friday. It's the weekend. Friday. So, before we actually get started, I want to make sure for those of you that are out there that have not watched one of my tutorials or joined us before or subscribed, please go ahead and do so now. If you like the tutorials, if you watch the tutorials, please do give thumbs up. That lets me know if you like the video, the tutorial, and if you want to see more of those type of videos as well. So that helps me out a lot. So please thumbs up, subscribe. If you have friends and family that might enjoy watching and learning, or just for the fun of it, just doing decorative things, please share the link with them, or links for the different video tutorials that you may have watched already, or as you watch, and if you enjoy them, share them. Please share them out there, invite others, because it makes it so much better just to have communication while we're out here live. If you're watching the replay, please do the same thing. Just let me know by way of comment that you watched the replay. If there's any comments, questions, or anything, put that on there, because I do check those comments periodically, just to to keep track of everything in case there's any questions, and I do follow up. So it may not be immediately as you put that comment or question on there, maybe within a few days. So do give me some time to reply to the comments, but do write any questions you may have in case you're watching the replay and you're not with us here live. Just let me know just by way of comments. Also, if you're here, I can see there's some YouTube calls, concurrent viewers. If you are here, if you don't mind, if you're not too shy, let me know you're here watching, just so that I know who's out there, where you're watching from, if you're comfortable with sharing that with me. But I won't delay the time. I'm going to go ahead and get started so that we can start on our centerpiece, because this is just one of those things that I do that I really had not given it too much thought about showing the how, and I thought, you know what, this is something that should be quick and easy, and that you can change the theme around as needed based on the seasons or what you may have going on by way of events. So I'm going to show you the supplies. We do want to use some mesh, and I do have the lists actually on the bottom of the video, so do check that. It lets you know exactly how what items you'll need. So we're going to need some Deco mesh. I do use the 10 inch by 10 yard. I'm using a white one today, and I'm also using the smaller ones. These are the 5-inch 5.5 inches by 10 yards, and we have two different colors. We're using a teal color, and we're using a turquoise color, and we're not going to use it all. I am using remnant for the white, just so I can finish up. I had a little bit left from another project, and I like making sure I do projects where I can show you about using up some remnants. So that's what we're doing today, and I already have the base already started. So I'm going to explain that a little bit. What the base is a 7 to 10 inch wreath form. It comes without the stems, but you can put the stems on it, or Chenille stems or pipe cleaners. And if you're not sure where to place them, since I already have it finished, I do have a video out there on how to make your own wreath forms for when you can get these inexpensively at the dollar store, and then put your own stems. You actually can save a few dollars doing that way versus paying for the ones that already have the stems. So on that tutorial on how to make your own frames, I do show the spacing, how I put them on here, and explain all of that good stuff, so that way you'll be able to make one. So the key to all of it will be to use the stems that will match your theme. So that would be the only thing to think of, but pretty much everything else is very easy. It looks kind of crazy, but once you put the mesh on there, it doesn't look so crazy. So so that's what you would end up with just by doing a base. This is what we call a base, when you just do the main mesh that you're going to be using, and then you're going to be adding any other colors or ribbons or other mesh and things like that. So that's what we call it, base. So that's what it should look like once you're done putting the mesh on there. Now the Deco mesh that I have on here, I use the poof method. That is one of our basic methods of putting mesh on a wreath form. If you don't know, for my beginners out there, I also have the tutorial on that that you can look up. But it's just basically grabbing a few inches and then putting it on to the next stem, and you just continue doing that all the way around. There is an additional zigzag method, because you could do just the outer and the inner rim, and then you could zigzag your way depending on how full you want it to be or how much coverage you need. That is also explained on that tutorial, so you could always look that tutorial on that list. We have those listings on there so that you can find it easier if you don't know, if you're a beginner and don't know exactly how to do that poof method. If it's kind of like another language, please do watch that. I just kind of wanted to save a little bit of time on the video since we're going to be doing some bundling, I guess, if I call it that. So we're going to switch the camera here in a bit, but I want to show you the ribbons we're going to be using, and I'll probably show you once I switch the camera, just because it'll be a little bit more zoomed in. And I want to show you some of these shells that I have out so that we can work on our little vase. So I'm going to change that up here just a second. Alrighty, so you should still see me to the corner, but should also be able to have like a bird's eye view on my arts and crafts table just for the top. So this is the base that I was talking about with the wreath form and with the stems. This is already the poof method, so it's ready to roll for us to add on our different mesh, if we're going to add mesh, which in this case we are, and our ribbons and any embellishments that we may add. So this is what we call a base, and this is our starting point. So this is one of the ribbons we'll be using today. So it's actually got a ribbon in the middle, if I can say that way. There's the material in the middle, and then all of these are like really I guess you could say shaved. They're like little ruffly type things, so they're kind of cut, so it makes it a little bit different. So for these, I don't normally do the dovetailing when I use these. So this was just to add a little bit of a different green, since we're doing a beach method. I'm gonna put that to the side. We are using some jute mesh ribbon, and it's also a little bit it's pretty much see-through, but if you put it together on something else, it's not so see-through. Okay, and it is wired as well, and this is so that we can have kind of work that sand color in. Okay, and we will be adding some dark blue, just because navy, you know, just for a pop of a different color. And let me see, I'm going to take out the mesh from my mesh roller so you'll be able to see. And I think on the camera it looks a little bit different. This one is actually the teal. It's more like an emerald type teal color. I'm not sure why from what I can see, it looks a little bit different on the camera, but this one is the teal. And let me show you the turquoise, and it's more like a seawater color. So if I put them together, you can kind of see they're a little bit different, but they're really a lot more different than what it looks like on the camera, from what I can see on my side of the camera. And I know that varies based on the computer settings and what do they call it, RGA and all of that other stuff. So but it is more of a teal, like an emerald teal type color, and then we have the turquoise to add in, which will then work with our sand. So that's why we have those colors in. But I already have everything cut, including our ribbons, so I am going to just kind of get started and explain as I go. Here up on the table, I have some of the shells that we'll be using, and this is going to be our filler for the vase, and I'll show you once we get to that point. So you can also, once we're done, you can add these in as embellishments and glue some on, or if you have some starfish type, you could also do that to kind of add a little bit more. But for now, we're going to use some just for the vase. So here we go. So I want to start with my ribbons, and I want this one to be on every stem, because this is going to be our sand color basically. Okay, and I want one each of this one as well. This one I cut half, so we need 12, by the way, 6 on the outer, 6 on the inner. So you'll need 12 of your main ribbon and then do half of your other ribbon. Okay, and it looks like, let me see, I'm getting a message from YouTube again saying no data. So if you're not able to hear me or see me or one or the other, hopefully not both, please let me know, because I'm getting warnings again from YouTube, and I'm not sure if that's our internet or what it might be. So please do let me know. It just says something about resolution, so hopefully you can still see me and hear me okay. If not, please do let me know, and we can see what we can do, because I don't see anything else here that I can other than repositioning things. Okay, so this is my plan. So we're gonna curl our mesh in the same direction that it wants to curl on its own. Now I cut these, since these are just 5.5, I cut them at 7 inches just to make sure we would have enough to work a good enough of a curl. So we're just gonna curl it in the same direction it wants to go. I'm gonna grab one of each. So we're gonna put these at every stem. And you could just put it like, just like I'm doing, in between your fingers to hold it in place as you're curling. Makes it a little bit easier, so you won't have to think of where to put it and put something down while you work on another. Now this, we're going to find our middle and do our usual scrunching. Okay, and our curls are going to go on top of that, and then we're going to put this on our stem. So you could do it in 2 different steps, or you can combine them, which is where the bundling comes in, and then put that in. Now I have the ribbons cut at 12 inches. Of course, you can cut them shorter if you don't want them to show as much. I wanted them to pretty much take over, if I can say it like that. Now with these, once we're done, if we're not adding anything else, we can cut them, or you can tuck them under. Okay, for now I'm just going to leave it as is, because I'm thinking of doing something else as well that I have mentioned to you before. So I mentioned this is half of them, so I'll do it we have 6 of them, and I'm going to show you how to dovetail them in case you haven't done that before. So what we're going to do is actually alternate adding these in, still adding all of our other ribbons. Okay, so for dovetailing, we just fold them in half, and then we cut diagonally towards that corner. Okay, so this is your folded side, here's our open corner, and there's the way we're going to be cutting. Just go straight on up diagonally, and that'll give you your dovetail. Okay, okay, doing that again on the other side, and there's our dovetail. Okay, and as I mentioned, all of the ribbons are cut at 12 inches. If you do want them shorter, if you don't want them to show as much, you could go down to 10 inches. I just want them to be pretty much all over the place, because this is going to be a centerpiece. So normally when I do the minis, which is what these are, what I call them, minis, which can be used also as wreaths depending on how you put them together, I normally go a little bit smaller on those ribbons. But when using it as a centerpiece, I go a little bit longer. Okay, so for our next one, we're doing the same thing, but this one being darker, we're going to put it on the bottom. Okay, We're going to do our jute mesh next. This one is like an aqua lime green and it's a little shimmery. We're going to put that one on top, and then we're ready to combine with our mesh. And we're going to do one of each. Okay. Now you could also alternate, like if you put the teal one on the bottom and then the turquoise on the top, then you could do the opposite on the next time around. Excuse me. And that just kind of gives a little bit more of the variations on the color. Okay. Again, just putting that in between the fingers just to hold it together. Now this one was on the bottom last time, so I want to make sure it's on the top this time. Okay, and we're going to get to our middle for our ribbons. We just match the edges and get to find our middle so we can scrunch it on in. Okay, and now we're going to grab our mesh, put it right on top, and get to our stems. We're going to pull in opposite directions so it'll be nice and tight, and then we're going to give it a couple of twists. Okay, now from here you can position the ribbons any way you like. Okay, we can play around and just have all three of the colors show. We can zigzag them. It's entirely up to you. With them being wired, you can pretty much do anything you want. Okay, starting again with our sand. And grabbing another 2 pieces, one of each color. And we're basically going to be doing this all the way around and just alternating. Okay, don't forget, if you're just joining us, do give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. That'll let you know when we go live, when we do some uploads, and send you notifications on that so you won't miss out. Another way as well, if you want to know of news as they happen, not just for the live on YouTube, you can sign up for that email list. Just subscribe and you'll also be getting all the news. You'll be in the loop, in the know, so that way you'll have all the information as it happens, because we'll only send those emails when there's something new that we need to make sure that you're aware of, whether it's for a big sale coming up or any events coming up or whatever it may be, or just new things that are being put on sale in the shop. Hi Monica, I'm all right. How are you? Okay, switching again to our blue and putting our jute mesh on top of it. Again, just doing one of each ribbon and one of each mesh. And these again are cut at 7 inches because we're doing smaller curls, and we're just alternating. And I just put them in between my fingers just to hold it together. Oh yes, I think I would for a lake one. Might even include more of a lighter blue, not the dark navy blue that I'm using. Might probably switch some of the, like, or change up the mesh. Maybe use some of the navy as the mesh and use some of the other, kind of swap one of the colors around just to make it stand out more. That would be another option. Do a, maybe even a darker green for the lake, because usually at the lakes there's more of the trees, so that's another thing to consider as well. So depending on what you want to bring out. Okay. So for these, again, with the ribbons, once we go all the way around on the outer and the inner, then we could decide if we want to shape up the ribbons a different way. We could definitely do that. But really for a centerpiece, you really don't have to do too much work when it comes to the ribbons. And you'll see once we start putting it all together with our vase. And the wonderful thing with doing these, using these smaller wreath forms to do the centerpieces, there's just so much you can do, so many different themes. And you can use the same methods that you use for making one of the larger wreaths, you can use on the minis. You just have to go in a smaller scale. So things would normally have to be cut a little bit smaller depending on what you're doing. Like I mentioned earlier, you would have to do your ribbons probably more at 10 inches instead of the usual 12. I'm actually just want to go a little bit different today, and that's why I have them at 12 inches, because I want them to be all over, if I can say it that way. It's a centerpiece. I wanted to draw attention. This navy ribbon, it also has some sparkle. I don't know if that can really be seen on the, let's see. Ah, you can see it a little bit better there. See that little bit of a, it kind of makes me think of the stars in the sky, you know, for nighttime. So I thought that would kind of give it a nice look, because, you know, we do go to the beach at night sometimes, right? Look at the stars. And it adds a little bit of a different color to kind of mix some colors in. That's always good to do. Even when you do wreaths, it's good to mix colors around. Gives it a little pop. Okay, again, just putting it in between the fingers just to keep it together while I work on the other curl. Just one of the tips I can give you, because I know it could be a little difficult trying to put it somewhere else or have something with weight on it while you're doing something, and it just makes it easier. So I guess the best way I could try, let me see, trying to explain this other ribbon with all these frou-frous, as my mom would say. All the frou-frou, talking about this ribbon. It almost looks like peacock type feathers. It's not the colors of the peacock, but it's like very feathery. I guess that's the best way to explain that. Feathery, is that even a word? Lord have mercy. Lena. See, and it just likes to kind of pretty much go all over. It wants to do its own thing, like it's in the wind. In the wind. Hope you can kind of see the different colors on here. Now another way you could do this, instead of doing curls, because you know we like ruffles, don't we like ruffles? You could do ruffles, but just make your cut a little bit longer, so that way you'll have more depth for your ruffle. Another thing you could do, instead of using the 5.5-inch mesh roll, use the 10-inch, and that'll give you a bigger curl. So it depends on how much room you want it to take. But I figured if we're doing a small wreath form, we may not want it to be so big, right? Alright, looks like we made it to the last one for our outer rim. And then we can go on our inner. And we're basically going to be doing the same thing, just going all the way around. Okay, it's wanting to stick together already. Now if you use a Bodabra, if you know what that is, if you make bows and you use a Bodabra, you could also, instead of putting them in between your fingers, you could use the Bodabra to hold it for you. And you could put the ribbons in there and then do the mesh, you know, the curls as you go. And that'll also keep it all together, so it won't fall apart on you. And then you just lift it up from there to put it on your wreath form or your centerpiece. Because again, you could use the same tools, same methods. Because this is basically a wreath, we're just using it as a centerpiece. It's just smaller. Alright, so what I did was, in case you're wondering why I just flipped it, I wanted to make sure we had the navy blue on the background, but I wanted it to be in the opposite, kind of like diagonally across. And then this one doesn't have the navy blue, so I wanted to make sure we had the blue on that side. So I'm just kind of making sure it plays well together. That's all I'm doing. Okay. Just a few more to go. Just crunching it all together and then placing it in between our chenille stems. Another, whoops, excuse me a second. There we go. Another good thing with doing these smaller wreaths when you're using them for centerpieces, because there's no weight being put on top, it shouldn't scratch anything underneath. Now you can put those placemats underneath for the backing. Just have to cut it to size. You could also use felt. Just have to have one of those larger pieces and cut it down. I've done that as well, even for the wreaths. It works very well. And not just tie it using zip ties, just to keep it in place. But doing it the way that we're doing it, it shouldn't need it. It's just good to have a little safety just in case, because you never know. Okay, I think top. And I look at my colors to make sure I put the right one on top. Still doing some scrunching. Okay, I think we only have one more to put on here. Starting to play with the ribbons. Oh, I guess I lied. We have two more. That's not intentional. Okay. Starting to feel that heat, and I don't even have my skillet on today. Must be them hot flashes. So if you notice, I'm not being too picky with how lined up they are. Because really, it's not going to matter so much once we're done. Um, Another way that you can do these centerpieces is doing everything with curls and then bundling the curls. There's another tutorial out there that I have for doing a mini using the curls as a bundling method, and it fills it up very nicely. I think I have, do I have that in here? I do. I'll get up and show you that in a sec. And then it actually fills, it practically fills up the middle, so you don't have to put necessarily a candle in it, but you can if you want to. I've done a big one, like a wreath size, and actually put, and I did it for the holidays. It actually looked really good. And I put a poinsettia plant, like the ones they sell like at the different stores, Walmart and Sam's, just those regular size ones, and put it in the middle. And it really made it pop. We used it as a centerpiece. That was quite a few years ago though, but it looked really nice. So really, you can use even regular size wreaths in that matter as well, that manner. Okay, so here we go. Just a quick little centerpiece. Haven't even played with the ribbons, so it's all kind of crazy, but it looks just fine together, because again, it's for a centerpiece. So we still have some room here. We could just play with opening it up so that we can put our vase in there. I left these out because I was going to show you putting those styrofoam bowls. They have them in different colors. If by chance you may want to add a little bit more of an oomph to your centerpiece, this is when you would actually do it. You will wait until the end, and actually, since it's wired, it'll go right into those balls. And let's see, do I have any right here so I can show you? Let's see. Let's see if I can get a white one out of this pack. Ah! Don't want them to go all over the place. I'm gonna get a white one, since that'll go with our... Okay, so what you would do is grab those. They have them in different colors. For Valentine's, they had it in, you know, in these little bags already with the mixed colors. But they have them all the different seasons. You can get them at Hobby Lobby as well. So all you do is kind of push that stem into it, and that is it. You could put a little bit of glue on it so that way it won't come off on you, but that's pretty much the concept. And you will go all the way around, and then you could move these around since it's wired. You know, the stems are wired, and that'll give it a little bit more to your centerpiece. You could do that on the wreaths as well. So just a little tip there. Now, another thing you could do here, if you want to play around some more, is add your shells. You can glue them on right onto the stem. You can use starfish and add them on, as well as embellishments. For today, we're just gonna play with our vase. So I have 2 of them here. So you could even get these at the dollar store. I like going with the thinner one, and I'll show you why, because I want to make sure it stands out more. You could definitely do, now put this one in the middle so you can see it, and it just opens it up more. Just kind of play around with your mesh, and you can still see the actual vase. Okay, you can go with a taller one, and it gives you a little bit more play when you want to add other things to it to bring your theme out, which is what we're doing. These tend to take more if you're going to be filling it in. Now you could also fill it in with just flowers to match your theme. Just another option there. So we're going to move that out of the way. My hubby got me some play sand. I was just gonna go with shells, but he thought, hey, we're doing a beach theme, why not use some sand? So good idea, right? So I got this bag of the shells at the dollar store, Dollar Tree if I'm not mistaken. I don't think it says Dollar Tree on here, but I think it was Dollar Tree. So I'm gonna actually put some on the bottom. And this play sand you can get at Walmart, Home Depot. I think Walmart just does the small bags, but Home Depot has those big bags as well. So I'm just putting a little bit of sand so that way our shells will have a place to sit. And I'm just going to drop them in there because really I want the candle to be on top. And I'll show you what I mean. I have this candle that we can put in here. Now again, you can change this up based on your theme and depending on your season. And I'm going to try to have them turn a little bit so we can see some of those colors. They make a lot of noise, don't they? Just something different. I like changing things up. Got all of these cute little ones. All right. Just kind of layering so we can have some of that natural beach look. And our candle will sit right on top. I still have some more shells to put on there, so not to worry. Kind of save these. These are bigger and they have more colors and they're different kinds, so I just kind of wanted to save some of those to put them on top, since this part is going to be seen. And look at this one. I don't know if you can see. There's like two little shells that are actually attached to this one bigger shell. I thought that was different. Like I said, I like different things. Not sure if the candle will sit there. We'll see. We'll play it by ear, so to speak. Let's see. Oh, I'm gonna have to take the bigger ones out. What a shame. So I want it to sit right on top, but not come all the way out, if that makes sense. Just wanted to have a place to sit. There we go. And then we can fill in everything else with sand. That's perfect, I think. Perfect, perfect. We won't use them all. Okay, just shaking it up a little bit because I do want some of the shells to be seen. I don't want it to be covered up by the sand. And I'll try to turn this over a little bit so you can see. There's our shells and our sand, and I'm just adding a candle on top. And then we could put that in the middle. So that's definitely a quick and easy per se. So it wasn't difficult at all. And you can change it up based on the theme or events, because again, you could use these for pretty much any kind of event. I mean, think of weddings and glad you like it. I love it. Just something quick and easy that anybody can pretty much make and just throw together. But I like adding these little balls. It just kind of adds a little bit more to it, and you could add different colors as well to kind of add to the theme. But I think that adds a little bit more of a pop. And these come in different sizes as well, so adding them on and then just kind of alternating the sizes, and I'll show you the different sizes. There should be 3. missing one. Okay, so we have, whoop, don't go all over the place. Okay, so we have, I'm gonna try to put them on the, that's the 3 different sizes that usually come in the bags. And they normally have them in individual colors, or you can have them in the actual themes. So if depending on the season, like for Christmas, and they'll have all the Christmas colors together. For Easter, they'll do the same thing. So kind of be on the lookout for that if you want to try using them. But as you can see, it's really quick and easy to just put those on there, and that way you don't have to worry about cutting the stems out. They can be part of your look. So just doing that just changed it up a little bit, but gives you a different look. So it works. I would definitely recommend trying that out. Just makes it look different. That could be the word for today. Diferente. Different. Don't like everything to look the same all the time. I like changing things up. Because why not, right? Right. Gotta keep things interesting. See, I just love that. Keeping things different. So I just said different again. So in Spanish is diferente. So very close to the way it is in English. Diferente. Try not to get any of the pink ones. I'm gonna just all the white ones out. So we need a couple more, so I can show you what that might look like with all of them done. Okay, because I said I would. Okay, so think of the different seasons and events out there, and then plan your centerpiece, because you can do this again for every season and every event. And you just gotta coordinate your colors for your theme. See, quick and easy to put those in. But you can see already how it kind of changes the look a little bit, and it just adds, it doesn't take away, it adds a little oomph to it, just adding a little bit more. And imagine if you did it in the different colors. That's something else that you could do as well. So many options, I tell you. Now sometimes they have these, see, this one is in a weird shape. They have these in actual shapes. Like I know for Valentine's sometimes they have the heart shaped ones. During Christmas they have like Christmas tree ones and candy cane ones, made out of the styrofoam, and you can use them for your wreaths and your swags and centerpieces as well. So if you haven't used these before and thought they're only just for putting inside a vase, I hope this kind of helps with thinking of another way that they can be used and that it could be helpful. Because you could definitely put them in a vase, and they do look very nice in a vase, which is what they're intended for. But why not find another use, right? So I'm going to pull this more this way so you can see it a little bit better. Okay, so there is our centerpiece. We're done. I'm gonna quit trying to add more and do more to it. But this is it. Not bad at all. I'm gonna take the vase out of it so I can kind of bring it up a little bit closer. So it's full all the way around and has all of the pretty colors. And then adding our vase. Now you don't have to necessarily add the shells and the sand and all of that. Could do just a longer candle for the your vase and just have that in the middle. That would look very pretty as well. I just wanted to add some shells because we mentioned beach, right? So that's my main reason for that. And the sand. But just a candle will be good, and you could always change that around and put something else in it, or put some flowers and things like that. So there it is. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. If you did, please again remember, thumbs up, subscribe, share with others so that they can see it as well. me go ahead and change the camera view. Let me know if any questions, again, any comments at all. You can put the questions in the comments, and I do follow up with those. So until next time, thanks again for joining us, and we hope to have you here again next week, Friday, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. So until next time, stay safe, keep creating, stay liquid. Bye-bye.